We now know a lot more about Ripple, Ondo, and tokenized US treasuries than we did before. Why is this so important? Because tokenized treasuries could create a $28 trillion market where everything is sold on blockchain, and we hope that a big chunk of that market ends up on the XRP ledger. Watch this movie first, and then I'll explain why this is important, how long it will take to really take effect, and all the good things that will happen when you switch to the XRP ledger. Come on, play. We hope that in the next couple of years, anyone with a solid coin will be able to buy any US stock, ETF, or mutual fund they want 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, and get margin on the assets they hold across all asset classes. There are still some barriers that keep people around the world from getting the financial goods and services they want. We really want to break those down. My name is Ian DeBode, and I'm the Chief Strategy Officer at Ondo Finance. Ondo Finance is a business that makes regular financial assets available to people all over the world by putting them on crypto rails. The main problem that we're trying to solve at Ondo Finance is one. Did you see that? Hold on very quickly. Sui, you have Franklin Templeton, right? In live shows and Cryptonaires, we talked a lot about Sui. This is Aptos. You have management from Wellington here. Jupiter also locks up this area. A lot of names we've talked about a lot on this show. For people around the world, Ondo Finance's main goal is to give them access to the right financial assets and services. As of right now, the banking world is very disorganized. The things that people would like to have are not available to them. You should think of a stablecoin. It was the first thing that really made it easy for people all over the world to use the US dollar. The same thing is being tried by Ondo Finance. For higher level US assets like government funds, stocks, ETFs, and so on, we basically take the real assets, store them, and then create a mirror asset on these crypto rails so that anyone in the world can use it. Along with that, we make sure that the assets we sell have many of the safeguards for investors that people are used to seeing in traditional banking. When we issue treasury assets, stocks, or ETFs, we also want to make sure that the collateral at the clearing broker account is properly reflected on chain. This way, when you hold one of our tokens, you have a stake in the collateral. When you think about what stablecoins really did, they turned dollars into tokens, made them available to people all over the world, and made the dollars move around all the time. Different types of dollars were also better because they could be used for anything in DeFi. We'll do the same thing to US stocks, ETFs, and mutual funds. We'll put them on crypto rails and make them move all the time. Allow anyone in the world to use them without permission and incorporate them into DeFi. This way, anything you hold on chain will be better than anything you hold in your broking account. I worked at McKinsey for a little more than 8 years. In 2016, I worked on my first project with digital assets. At that time, some French banks were already very interested in tokenization and trying to figure out how we could help them run their businesses more efficiently. It's clear that we've come a long way since 2016. A lot of the big players in the game finally think the technology is ready to start moving. And now that this government is in charge, the regulatory clarity that many of these institutions have been waiting for is finally getting close. Think about the year 2016. French bankers are trying to figure out how to tokenize some of these funds right? And this worth, right? Bring it on chain. That was 9 years ago. They have been testing, building, sandboxing, poking, prodding, creating, deploying, and poking and prodding all of this whether that's Ondo, XRP, or HBR, you will own a piece of that whole network. That's how important and big this is, right? Some people look at crypto and laugh and make fun of it, calling it scam this or scam that. But those people really don't understand how the technology works. They are going to fall behind because they don't take the time every day to improve their skills and information. But you will learn things that can make your family rich for many years to come. Just a few smart moves over the next few years, and everything will be fine. You'll have to figure out how to spend all this money for the rest of your life, right? What am I going to do? I don't have to go to that 9-to-5 job. I like the people I work with, but my boss is... How many times do you go through something in your life where you want to make a change every day but aren't seen for the hard work you put in? A lot of institutions have tried to use a fast follower approach in the past. They always felt like they were almost ready. They would try to move quickly to catch up to some crypto-native companies when the time was right. And of course, that time has come. What I think is the most unusual thing I have ever seen is the level of attention in Ondo from the big four banks. When I worked at McKinsey, there were times when I had a hard time getting people to understand what I was saying. A lot of people would not believe it. I've lost track of how many times people have said that crypto was just a trend that would pass. But no one thinks this will go away any longer. It's hard to be relevant in the traditional financial space, so people just want to find a way to be relevant in the digital asset field. Ripple helped us launch one of our tokenized treasury funds, OUSG, on the XRP system. The Ripple stablecoin RLUSD can also be used to subscribe to and withdraw money from this tokenized treasury fund. We really think it's a pretty interesting time. The OUSG is one of the biggest RWAs ever, and we really want people to be able to use these tokenized capital funds. That's why you have to join KYC with us if you want to hold OUSG. If you do that and we agree to it, you can tell us which wallet address you want to hold this item in, and once we accept you, you can use your RLUSD to pay for the OUSG. Once you own an OUSG, you make interest every day at a rate of 4.1%, which you pay out every day. You can make 4% or 4.1%. This is when you get very rich. Yes, rich people stay rich because they have resources that help them handle their money well. Yes, one way to do this is to put money into bonds. Okay, most of the time, these are short-term agreements like 1 year, 6 months, 1 year, a few years, or even longer than 10 years. Now, they're giving 4.1% right now, but they change it every year based on interest rates. You would get $41,000 a year if you gave $1 million and put it all in this thing, right? For this interest, it's pretty much completely free. If you put all $10 million into this and got 4% on it, you'd get $400,000 a year. This is how you can make your money work for you with little risk. I don't know how much money you need to live. There is some risk in everything you do, but treasuries are thought to be the safest because the US government promises to pay them back. We can like the US government and other things, but that's the main point, okay? To tokenize treasuries that pay return in a very smooth way, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. The current TradFi lines don't actually allow subscriptions and redemptions 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. For those who miss the deadline to join a money market fund on a certain day, interest will not start to earn until the next day. Otherwise, if it's a bad day like Friday, you won't start making interest until Monday. The most interesting thing about these tokenized treasury funds on crypto rails is that you can start making You can also use a stablecoin to pay for or subscribe to these funds whenever you want. We've basically made a system work that is much smoother than the draft filters that were there before. If we want to take OUSG to the next level, we think Ripple would be a great partner because Ripple is already widely used by institutions. One of the first networks to really figure out how to work with banks was this one. Ripple has a busy group of institutional investors that are very important. We thought that adding OUSG would be the next best thing to do to really reach out to those big investors because people want to get their hands on treasury assets they can trust so they can start making interest on their money. At this point, I believe we've worked with more than 12 different blockchains. But Ripple stands out because of how well they do their job and how fast they can move. On top of that, they are very careful about the companies they work with. They work with some people only. We value our partners a lot when they are careful about who they do business with. The world that Ondo Finance is working towards is one in which capital markets and financial services really do work and move around 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Everyone in the world with an internet connection can get US financial goods whenever they want. We hope that in the next couple of years, anyone with a solid coin will be able to buy any US stock, ETF, or mutual fund they want, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, and get margin on the assets they hold across all asset classes. There are still some barriers that keep people around the world from getting the financial goods and services they want. We really want to break those down. Right now, our main goal has been to really tokenize funds. There are 2 big funds open. We have made progress that matters. But the next